Good morning everybody and welcome to Sharing Sunday with me, Helen Armstrong, aka Pandrapops Crafting Joyful Moments. I'm based in Wilmslow, Cheshire in the United Kingdom. This morning I'm going to continue using the beautiful Ordinary Life paper that I started using yesterday in the Simply Made Saturday video. So we have this gorgeous paper which is black and white on one side. I'll just show you the backs of these papers. And there's one more. Yep, that's like honeycomb. And on the front it is stunning. So we've got some gorgeous papers. If you watched the video yesterday, you'll have seen me go through these wonderful papers. I'm just getting that one out because I'm going to show you which ones I used in this particular thing. So we've got some gorgeous honeycomb and some polka dots. That's the word I couldn't find. Okay, so the two papers I've used were this one, which has got this gorgeous spot on the back, and I spent some time yesterday just blending some colours over so I could then cut out some little bits and pieces. And then the main one that I used was the back of this one, which is the leaf print. And I did lots of different things with the leaf print. I blended inks over the top. I fussy cut these out and then just did some lines on them. I have just got a plain white one in here. So I spent the afternoon yesterday fussy cutting all these bits out so we could have a play today. I've already cut my card base, which is, as always, 14.8 by 10.5. Okay, so I've got some card bases ready. I've also cut some of our basic white card for the fronts as well, because I'm going to try a few different techniques with you this morning. I haven't got a card to show you because I haven't made one yet. I just thought we'd play along and just see what we could do. I'm also been using the two-tone colours which coordinate with the suite. So we have Flirty Flamingo, I think that's Daffodil Delight, Lagoon, Pool Party and Petal Pink. So I've got those bits and pieces you can see on the side cut out. And I have used the dies from the Bordered in Beauty set and the Extraordinary Life set as well. So we've got a few bits and pieces that we've used. One of the things I've already done is I have spritzed some of my card. So I'll show you what I did. So I just spritzed a piece of our basic white card and I've spritzed it with some water. Just so, let it soak in ever so slightly. I've picked up some colour, that's absolutely fine. And then I'm scrumpling it up because, as you can see, I've made a bit of a scrumpled paper. Okay, so I've scrumpled that up. And then I'm just going to leave it out to dry a little bit. I quite like that edging that's caught on the bottom. Maybe you think we should maybe change our mat, but let me just put another piece of paper over the top instead, so we're not picking up any of that colour on the card. Okay, right, okay, let's get started then. So I'm going to start with as I say, our basic card blank, and then I've got in our sheet of white. This one I'm going to just leave white for this card. The other one I am actually going to add a little bit of colour. I just wanted to see what the differences were. I am going to start building. So as I say, we have some leaves that I fussy cut yesterday, and you can see I went all the way to the edge of the paper, so you could even do this with this, could layer it on. I think that's what we'll probably start with, that one. I'm going to have a look to see what the bits we have here. So I might want to put a piece of that behind. We've got some nice papery bits here that we can use. This is the actual inside of this frame die, so you can you can see where that came from. Okay. I'm going to just pick, I'm going to get my paper snips because some of these are quite large. And I'm just going to snip around. Okay, you can come off ever so slightly if you wanted to. All right, I'm just building. Let's get some of our black and white in. So the idea was just to play and just see what we could create today using this wonderful paper, just by adding some inks. Yeah, and some, all I did was to do the black, I just used the Stampin' Up journaling pen. That's all I used for that. Okay, I'm going to go and see whether, as I say, I'm just playing at the moment. I'm trying to work out whether I want that's quite nice layered. Okay, so let's just take those off to the side. Let's just start with some layering, and then we can have things peeking through, going up. On top of the frame. We can place our heart somewhere. And where's our, I was going to snip that. So then we can have some of our black and white layered on top. And then you've still got room to have your sentiment down here. I quite like the idea, let me just have a look, of bringing in some little flags. I did cut some out of the spotty paper that I coloured. And you could layer those on top, just underneath, just adds an extra layer. And then we could also add, so it's just like building a collage, isn't it? It's whatever you want to do, you can add to this. I also have a white, but I might end up, let's just add a touch of colour around the edge of that one. And I think I'm going to go in, I think I'm going to go in with Lost Lagoon. So I'm using my Lost Lagoon ink. If you're wondering what kind of brush I'm using, it's actually a car interior cleaning brush from Halfords in the United Kingdom. I quite like the mottled effect that it got when I used it. And it's really soft. I mean, really, really soft. It is gorgeous. So you could add that one just maybe peeking under there and over the top. I might actually add an extra layer of colour just with my, let's have a look, see if I can find my Lost Lagoon. Yep, I've got my light Lost Lagoon, and all I'm going to do is, using the brush, I'm just going to go around the, oh, managed to get a cat hair on there. I'm just going to go around the edges. So you're just going around the edge, and it just gives that little bit more depth of colour, make it stand out a little bit more. So I'm just, as I say, going around the edges. You could have a deeper edge if you wanted to, but I quite like that one. And I'm also going to see if I can find my Flirty Flamingo. You can just hear my cat in the background scratching at my carpet. can't get the lid off. There we go. Now my Flirty Flamingo lid, I've been doing a lot of brushing with it. But I can change the nib on this. So I'll actually quickly show you how I change the nib on this as well. May as well turn this into a little bit of a tutorial video. Okay. Where is it? Come on, bits. I was about to show you how to change the nib, but that will be a separate video now. Oh, no, it won't be up on my little thing. Okay, so I have got these, I don't know how you say it, brush nibs. And they come with a tweezer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out because it's no use to me now because I can't really use it. But there's still lots of ink in my pen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it with a new nib. So these are from that wonderful store online that we all know about. And then I'm just gonna, it is a bit tight, so just there you go, push it in. Okay, so now what I need to do with this is I need to have it just standing up. So I'm going to put it in a pot with it face down at the side of me, and then the ink will slowly go down, and I'll show you that if I remember towards the end of the video. Okay, so let's carry on with what we're doing. I think I want some more leaves coming in. As I say, I'm just layering. Okay. Bring that heart further down, I think. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so we've got lots of layering going on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take everything away because I know basically where I want things, and I'm going to layer them properly on this piece of card. So I'm going to have that at an angle. I think I'm going to have that in the background, and then we were going to have that over the top at another angle. We're going to have these. I'm going to try a new technique. We're going to have these down maybe here, with one behind. There is method to my madness about taking it off, don't worry. Okay, have that there. Put my heart up there, and I want this heart down here. And then we're going to put our little leaves, because I've got this coming again, it's cut off. What I might do is just trim that bit down. But yeah, please use every bit of the paper. It is such a shame not to use every bit of this paper because it's so stunning. Again, just going up. I'm going to trim that leaf off because that goes off the side. Okay. And then have that poking through there, I think. I need to bring my heart forward a little bit. Okay. So anything else that we want to put back on here? We need to bring another piece up there, possibly. Okay. I'm going to leave it like that, but now I'm going to bring in something which I've not used before, so this is a pure experiment with me as well. This is something called Press and Seal, and again, get it from our online favourite, Amazon. So I'm just going to get a piece, if I can rip it off. It does not want to tear. So bring it towards you, tear some off, and then I'm just going to layer it on top of these. Okay, I'm going to just press down with the hope that it's going to pick up all of my bits, and then I can start putting some glue on the back of them. Okay, perfect. So it's now picked up my collage. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of all the bits that I possibly can put glue on the back, and then I'm going to stick it onto my card, my the layer that I've done. Okay, so let's have a go at this. Okay, my glue doesn't want to work this morning. Why don't you want to work this morning, glue? Okay, let's just pick up my other one, see if that one will work this morning for me. Okay, neither glue wants to work. I know there's lots of glue left in this one. There we go, at the back. Okay, so I'm just putting some glue on where I can. And I know I can attach these bits. And then I'm going to press it down onto my card. And then slowly lift up. Give it some time just to adhere. And then slowly lift up. Anyway, that's the plan. I'm hoping it will work. As I say, not done this before, so this will be interesting. So I've picked that up. I've now got my layer. And I'm going to place it on where I want to have my bits and pieces. So I'm actually quite happy with that, I think. I'm just going to press down, so try and get that glue that we've put on, stick it down. Obviously there are bits on here that won't be adhering because we know we've not managed to get glue on them. But yes, I'm just going to press it down for a little bit. So I hope, like you, that you've had, like me, that you've had a good weekend so far. Just taking a drink of water. The weather in the United Kingdom has cooled down slightly, but then we've looked again forward for about 2 weeks and it looks like we are going to get another mini heat wave, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, I do like the hot weather, but not when it's weather that I normally expect when I am in places like America. Right, so I'm very gently peeling back this because it is slightly sticky, this press and seal. So it will move a little bit and it may take off a little bit. I can see I've picked up a little bit of my pieces of paper. So just take it slowly. Okay, so I'm now I've got some bits stuck down, as you can see. I'm now going to then stick my other bits down. Because this is a very, very layered card, I do not want to add too much. I don't want to put any dimensionals on, anything like that. So, yeah, I'm just going to put some glue on where I can. I've stuck down already. And it just means that it makes the process slightly quicker. What I could have done was I could have just done putting the collage together straight away on this piece of board and then picked it up. So this one just needs some glue so we can put it on and nip it behind. Again, we don't need a lot of glue, just some dips and dabs. Yeah. So I'm just going to put that behind there. Do we need anything up here? Are we quite... I think everything else is relatively well adhered. I don't think we need a lot more glue. And I put too much glue on there. Okay. Right, I might just add a little bit of more glue underneath this heart at here. There we go. Stick it down. Stick that down. So you still want some of them to pop up. You don't want to stick them all down, all the leaves, but as long as they're adhered, that's what you need. Okay, so we need to do a sentiment. And let me just grab some paper. well, some card, it is card. I am going to use my little brush with the Gloss Lagoon before I stamp. I'm just hoping you can see everything. I know it's white on white, I'm really sorry. So I'm just dabbing in and then brushing over or dabbing down. As I say, it just gives that slight mottled effect, which I quite like. Okay. And I'm just going to quickly grab a sentiment from the Fern and Flora set. Thankful for You, I think I might use. Didn't think I was actually going to do any stamping today, but here we go. We are stamping because I've forgotten about the sentiment. Okay, and I'm just going to grab my Secret C. I think you could probably use the press and seal again because I think there was still some sticky on mine, but I have scrumpled it up now, unfortunately. Okay, so Thankful for You. Let's close that again. Yeah, I've managed to get my nail into it. There's never a session goes by when I don't manage to get my nail into things. Okay. So let's just trim that down. I think I'm just going to go straight forward for the do we need something behind it? Possibly. Let me just grab some ribbon. I'm just going to grab, this is the mesh ribbon. It's the gold striped ribbon. Okay, where are you? Where's my end? This will just give it a little bit of sparkle. So I'm just going to cut a little bit. And I'm going to grab some tearing tape and put this on the back. I find sometimes this is some of the best way to adhere your ribbon. So press that down and peel it off. So what we're going to do is, all I'm going to do is I am going to let this bit come down here. Then I'm going to loop behind and then loop up. That's what I'm going to do. I think maybe that's too big a loop. Let me just adjust that ever so slightly. Loop and then loop. Okay. I haven't got my ribbon scissors, but they are working quite well. So I'm just cutting that at a slight angle. And then I will use some more tearing tape to adhere it to the card. Yes, normally I'd use dimensionals, but because we've got a lot of bits already with that collage, I don't want to add anything extra. Okay, so we're just going to put that down here. All right, and that is our first card front done. So let's add this to the front of our card, and then we're going to do a bit where we actually maybe put less colour on the front, but we will put some colour on our piece that we've scrumpled up. Now you could always decorate an envelope to match if you wanted to. on the inside, what I might quickly do is just use one of our ones that I know that I've got, that's quite, because it sits quite nicely there. Yeah, let's put that on. So as I say, do not get rid of anything, even if it's got a flat side to it, because I've been able to now use this piece in the middle of the card. And then it just ties it a little bit together. There we go. So we have that, and then that. I hope you like that one. Let's have one more go with one of our, again, with the bits and pieces. I quite like that, even though this has just purely been done, as we say, on the fly. It wasn't something that I just cut the bits out and I just wanted to see how they would work together. You could put some embellishments on just to cover the bits where, like I've got glue, but I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll be able to use my just normal rubber to rub that off. It's all you need. Okay, let's put that to one side then. And I need to find out what we did with our other sheet. Here it is. Okay, so with this one, we are going to add some colour around the edges. I'm going to slightly just rough this up a bit as well if I can. Rough this up a little bit more before I add my... We're going to just add some colour. So I'm going to use, again, I've got another brush here, which is for adding fake tan. Got it from Boots the Chemist when they were on offer. Again, it's another soft brush. This one's even softer. This one's softer. But this one you can add a little bit more force on it. So I'm going to actually, I think... pick up, I'm going to go with Flirty Flamingo because I quite like the Flirty Flamingo. We can always add extra if we want to. So all I'm doing is just rubbing it on, and then I'm just going to go off at the side. You can add colour really quickly with this type of brush. Especially when you've already scrumbled up your card, it just makes it a lot easier because of the bits and pieces. Sorry, the lumps and bumps. It sounds really weird, doesn't it? Lumps and bumps. Okay, so that's that bit. That is going to fit on there. And we are going to then start adding, but let's build on here this time. So I have got some white pieces, and I think I want to bring, see how we had those, which is the back side of the paper. I think I want to bring some white pieces in, but again, I'm going to blend over, let's use one Pretty Peacock. And I'm going to use the brush I got from Halfords. I really am enjoying this kind of mottled effect. So say they were really cheap. I think they were £1.49 or £1.69 each. So yeah, I do like those. We're going to have, I'm just trying to, no, I'm not happy. I don't want to have another one of those in the background. I think let's bring in some of these. I just realised I've still got ink all over my fingers. Okay, so let's bring in some of these. So I've cut some things in Flirty Flamingo, as you can see. So we've got obviously the darker tones or the lighter tones. I'm sticking with the lighter tones because I used the sort of more lighter tones on the florals. Excuse me. I like this big piece. That's nice. I do like that. Okay, I'm just going to, just for ease, stick one on top of the other of these. I'm hoping my lighting's okay today. I know I've got a bit of a shadow coming in from my window. I'm going to stick that on top of there. And I'm just going to put that under there. Okay, like that. I might stick another one of these in the back here at the top. Or maybe actually just turn it slightly. There we go. I know the heart's not the right way around. We can add our sentiment, I think. Will that fit? Let me just have a look. It's going to be very close. Don't think that's going to fit. So we'll use this piece here for our sentiment. Just stamp that quickly. And then we can see where we're going to layer it. So the good thing about these is you can cut all these bits out. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, it did take me a while to cut all these bits out. Yeah, so it wasn't a quick fix. It wasn't something which was quick and easy. I did spend a good hour fussy cutting around all my leaves, but I have got loads, and that will make now a card. That's quite simple. I quite like that. Do we need anything extra than that? I'm not sure. Do we need to bring in a white one? Just in the background. Let me just have a look. Let me just do some snipping. It's the same one. I wonder whether we can do it upside down or whether we just need to layer it behind. I think let's just layer it behind everything. Oh, it's got caught on the frame underneath. Okay, now I've shifted everything, haven't I? Let's just add that there. Those can still go under there. You know, I've got this thing, I don't like hearts being the wrong way around. So let's just put that there. Those there. Again, we're just building and playing to see what we like. Do we need that one? I don't think we do, but I want to bring in a little bit more of that colour. So do we then add a further one underneath there? I might do. Okay, let's just take that. Let's just add a little on the back of here, a little bit of glue. So instead of hearts this time, we've gone for those hexagons. Right, okay. I don't think I want to add that much more. I quite like this with just as it is. Move that up a little bit. There we go. Just so we can see it a bit better. Right, I'm just going to double check that that just goes out a little bit, so we should be okay. But let's just keep everything there and then move that. Oh, I said keep everything there and then I move it. Okay. Right, what do we think? I quite like that. So I'm going to get my press and seal again. Okay, and I'm just going to press it down. I have to say, I didn't think of this idea. This idea for the press and seal I got from the wonderful Rachel Tesman, or Teasman, who's an American demonstrator, and she's got a wonderful YouTube channel that she has. So I got the idea from her to use the press and seal when you're doing a lot of collaging. It just makes things so much easier. Okay, so I think we've picked up just about everything. Maybe not this bit here. Okay, I'm going to bring in our card and we're going to layer it down. Just hold it in place while that glue sets a little bit. So I hope you had, as I say, a great weekend, and your week has been very, very nice, and hopefully you've got lots of nice things planned for next week. Next week is the start of my Christmas and July classes, in-person classes, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also doing a couple of, I've got a couple of people doing it online. So yeah, looking forward to doing those. I do like doing the in-person classes. Oh, I also need to thank you very, very much for those that have followed me on YouTube. I now have over 100 YouTube subscribers, which makes me very happy. I'm a tenth of the way to be able to do live videos on YouTube, but we will see. That is still quite tacky, so you could probably use it again. So I wouldn't throw it away. I would maybe use it again. And then just put some glue on the back here, just to stick that down. And on the back of our sentiment, stick that down. It's not wanting to stick, so I'll just hold it. I realise that's not quite straight. Difficult to move it. Okay, that's okay. Maybe a little bit of glue just in this corner. But everything held well. I'm very happy with that, I think. Okay, so do we need to add anything before we add it to our card? Let's have a look. Let's just, I'm on the very last bit of this reel and can't get it anymore, unfortunately. But never mind. Okay, so do we have, before we stick it on, or is that too much? Do we need that? Do we need to have that gold on? Oh, I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to go with gold. I'm going to just stick this on. let's stick that on. I'm just going to bring in that a little bit. Just to add a bit more over the top of there. Okay. And then we'll have to stick something in the middle. This time I think I will stick one of our hexagons with the heart. Just there. And if you wanted to do the extra, you could always put something on the back as well. If you wanted to, you could stick that on, but what I would do is probably add it to the envelope. Okay, so we have those two together. Which one is your favourite? I'm now wishing I'd put some ribbon on there, I think, on the other one. Can we just add a little bow under something? And we had a little bit under there. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna let me just bring in some Timid Tiger. So I want to take the edge off this yellow piece. The good thing about these brushes is I haven't needed to wash them yet, but they don't seem to hold the colour. So as long as you give them a good spritz off, you should be, you know, brush off, you should be absolutely fine to use them again. Okay, so it's now, where's Helen put her? Tearing tape. I have to use my other one because I can't see. I still can't see my other one. It's right in front of me. How many times as crafters do we do that? It's right in front of you. Okay, so let's put some tearing tape on. Press it down. So I do like this two-tone cardstock because you get to use either side depending on what you want to do with it. Okay, let's put some more tearing tape on the back. Sorry if I'm off camera with this bit. So as I say, I love that the whole thing of this is just playing. It just reminds me, I know it's terrible to say, but it's because it's so long ago for me. It just reminds me of being at school and doing collages, and it was always my happy place when I was messing about creating with paper and card. I was one of those children who liked those paper dolls that you could dress up, but I didn't necessarily like the dresses that they chose, so I would make my own and cut them out. So I think that's where I get my love of cutting and sticking from. Those type of crafts as a child. Okay, I think that looks slightly better. I'm happier with that now. Be interesting to know in the comments which one you preferred. Was it without or with? If you can let me know, that would be great. So yeah, so we now have these two cards we've created this morning. I hope you've enjoyed this class. If you have, please like and subscribe. As I say, we have used the beautiful Ordinary Life papers, which are stunning, some blending, and then all we've done is lots of collage techniques. But that press and seal, it's been a bit of a game changer for me. I'll be using lots and lots of that. Yeah, and also my new brushes from Harford. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, and I'm sorry for the sniffing. I do have hay fever. Thank you very much for joining me, and as always, craft your joy.